I have with me the very talented celestial musician, Julian Forrest.
It's
Welcome.
so great to be here, Scott. I'm really excited about everything that's happening in our collaborations.
Yes, thank you for being here. So let me just point out first, so in the latest issue of Radiance, you are writing about, well that's a great picture, and you're writing about the music of the spheres is very real. Now you're called the celestial musician, and I was just listening to you out there. We're at the Conscious Life Expo right now at the LAX Hilton in February 2020, and you were making sounds like whale. I felt like I was thousands of feet underwater listening to whales, and then you went into a song from there, but for a while it was very hypnotic.
For sure.
And I mean, do you use that in your concerts a lot? Is that?
You know, probably, I'd say maybe 2 out of every 10 concerts or more, I might do that, but
you sort of
like
feel
a
it?
Staple. It's like, yeah, I got to feel it, and I've never heard anyone else do it, and it's not to try and give myself a compliment. I've just never heard anyone else do it. I've heard some people.
You're moving with it, and you're, but you're. I want to say you're more than just music. You're a very informed musician. You're very intellectual as well. I mean, you get into sacred and sonic geometry.
For sure.
What does all that have to do with your music? And what does it have to do with what you're putting out in the world today? Because you're doing this with an intention and a mission.
Absolutely, and it's the spiritual renaissance.
The spiritual renaissance.
Global, cosmic, universal, holographic scale, however you want to think of it, but it affects everything, our intention and our creation of beauty, love, arts, science, education, inner development, all these things. It changes everything, and it has a ripple effect. And so
what's the intention with your music?
Well, the intention is primarily to raise consciousness, my own consciousness, or to even be healing, but it's like I never really say I'm a healer, but I'm known as a healer.
Absolutely.
It's a kind of interesting dynamic there. It's like I get that that's the effect, but one of the things I'm famous for is sometimes at a very intimate concert, and there might be 25 people in a circle, I'll say things like, hey, I would play this way anyway, and I really don't need you to have the kind of experience, and I kind of don't even care if you like it or not.
Right.
But I mean it in a beneficial, pure way.
Sure.
It's like this isn't about me trying to, make you happy in the normal way.
Right.
It's like about letting you be open to having an experience. It's not about getting you to like me.
Right.
And it's a transcendental field that's created in that way, and people really feel it. They're like, wow, he means it. He's not just saying that as a gambit.
Right.
But the vibrations come from this ultra pure harmonic place. I can hear the harmonics inside the notes in a cascade to infinity. And so I'll be playing these notes, and I'm hearing these dancing cascades that go into infinity. It's like angels playing with each other, and the people that can't hear them can still feel it.
Right.
And Aeolia designed the album cover, and he says like, quantum spheres of energy, are coming from my strings,
Some people may want to turn off this interview now and find your music and listen to see what you're talking about, so they can feel. Where do they go to listen to music?
The easiest way is to just realize that the truth is that most of my stuff is on hundreds of other places.
Okay.
And so follow the threads, like with Julian Forrest Musician or Julian Forrest Sacred Geometry.
So Google Julian Forrest.
With something else attached to it.
Okay.
That like Julian Forrest Guitarist.
Okay.
And follow the threads. Julian Forrest and Charles Gilchrist is a really good one. Julian Forrest Celestial Visions is really good.
Okay.
I don't really have a central website. I have more like hundreds of videos that are out there that I'm in.
Okay.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Okay. Now, when we were talking, and you knew that the theme of this Radiance magazine is the spiritual renaissance has begun, or is here.
Yeah.
And that spoke to you, and you wanted to write to that. What about that speaks to you and resonates with you? Like, what are you seeing in 2020?
That's a really important question, and I'm going to do my best to answer in a way that can translate.
Sure.
What it is I feel like there's a huge coalescence happening for me personally. It's also happening all over humanity, where all of our history, all of our endeavors, all of our attempts, all of our things that we've done are coming to this coalescence point. And I feel it within myself as well at this point in my life. And when the new energy comes to me in the alignments are higher than anything I can explain. Okay, you're in that alignment, and I know you are. Okay, it's like, wow, that inspires.
I'm flowing with it.
Yeah, you are, my friend. And so I feel that energy from you, and I feel it with certain people. And I say, well, okay, it's not about being exclusive, it's about being inclusive, but realizing that the new energy is where I want to be, and it's really strong, it's transforming everything at a rapid rate. and it's really, really here, and we should ride it in flow magic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So whatever makes you flow, man.
Yeah.
More people need to do that. Just, you know, find out what it is, what is their joy that allows them to get in that flow, in that zone.
Yeah.
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 Listening to your music can invoke that state.
For sure. I've heard that a lot.
So you just got to Google Julian Forrest.
Some kind
transcendental.
Transcendental will work actually. Yeah,
okay.
And,
all right.
Just if you type in Julian Forrest, the results aren't as good as what I found when I tell people just to do that. But if you attach a musical thing or an artistic thing, or even about movies or interviews, then the thread starts to become evident if you're following it. So it's everything from movies I starred in to interviews to events that I put on to you know, concerts I've done, or you know, just endless things in that creative kind of realm.
You're going to be doing the after party here at Conscious Life Expo.
Yeah.
And what do you have planned? Do you have? I mean, it's going to be celestial, of course, but do you have an intention for it?
You know, well, I'll be really honest with you. It's going to be very, very loose, and I'm not even sure I'm totally going to be the one that does it this time. I did last year. I kind of took it over, and I thought maybe I'd do this year. And so it may have shifted a little bit, but I'll know in a couple of hours.
Oh, okay. And it's going to happen tomorrow night, right?
It may or may not.
Oh,
okay. It may or may not.
Okay.
Yeah, but we will have some kind of a gathering in the same place that we did last year for the people that have been there and know what.
It's one of those secret door knock places.
A little bit.
Okay. Well, I know Julian Forrest, so I think I might get in. So going back to what's happening now in 2020 that you feel do you feel different energy? The Age of Aquarius. I mean, the sacred feminine rising, the sacred masculine coming out too, in equal amounts to even things out. What are you seeing us progressing towards, or what are you feeling?
Well, I'm going to answer very laterally, unintentionally, and I'll trace it back several years. I started going to electronic dance music and other kinds of festivals. And there's a certain amount of, you know, this is like 2012, 2011. I really started kind of changing my perspective, right? And I was just completely and totally elated to find out that I'm going there. And yeah, there's some partying going on. We get that.
Yeah.
But there's also all these people running around talking about sacred geometry, meditating, and working on these superfood diets and doing yoga. And this is all very, very real and very, very obvious. I'm, you know, at this electronic dance music event, and then someone goes up to the mic, and it's a sacred geometry booth for a DJ, and they're saying, "This is a shout out for sacred geometry." I said, "Did I just hear that?" I mean, really? I mean, it's like, and I got it. It's like these people are really transforming. This is very real. So going back to about that time is when I really realized that it wasn't just an idea. People were really doing it. And so now into 2020, what I think is after 8-10 years of really that overflowing strongly into the world with these events, it's actually overflowing into everything more than ever before. And more people are awakened, more people have done some discipline work, more people are doing inner work. And when they do the inner work, it's like they are different and they're radiating different. But when they're transformed by something, which some people say is a little bit cliche these days, but let's just go with that phrase. They're transforming something, they're radiating different out in the world permanently.
Agreed.
And it could just be even a sound healing concert. I've had people tell me, it's like, hey, you healed my daughter. And they're not kidding. And I'm like, wow,
that's
you
big.
healed my daughter and no one else could do it. And I'm like, wow. And so if that person is healed and they were suffering, then everything is a little different, right? So I feel that energy is transforming enough areas where we really have the option to make a planetary renaissance by using some real magic and some flow magic. We're pushing for it in the right areas and flowing with it in the other areas.
Beautifully said. Well, in brief, what tips would you tell people how to get in their flow, how to get to that, how to see the spiritual renaissance around them? How should they get in their flow? What tips do you recommend to people?
I like to think very hermetically. Ancient Egypt, there's this body of knowledge which, once you trace it, long story short, really does come from ancient Egypt. Even though it was doubted through the centuries at various times, when you really find out, you find things from the Hermetica, from the Neoplatonic times and the Library of Alexandria time period, that really was from ancient Egypt. It's just that it was doubted at certain points because it was written down at that period later, right?
Okay.
And then we're
so you're pulling your tips from those tips.
Well, I'm saying that that Hermetic mind frame teaches you, wait, you can change your consciousness by your will if you choose to. Get that you can do it, practice it, and then if you're having a bummed out day and you feel negative, catch yourself and change your vibration, if you will, or your state of consciousness, and go into a different place because you have the choice. And it's filtering out in all these different things. They don't call it Hermetica.
And as far as your well-being, getting to know yourself, know thyself is key, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. and know that you have choice always.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sitting with this. I told people how they can find you. They're going to listen to your beautiful music. Thank you very much.
Yeah, much respect, my friend.
What's that?
Much respect.